Jazmin Paez is a woman out of Miami, Florida, who was charged with trying to kill her 3-year-old son through a hitman online. And she was given a $15,000 bond by Judge Mindy Glazer. Now, this is the same judge that denied bond to Stephen Gallen IV for shooting at a off-duty cop in self-defense. Now, which is worse, trying to kill a child or trying to kill a police officer? Now, keep in mind, in the Steve Gallen case, Steve Gallen was not committing a crime, and he was being followed block after block by a off-duty police officer in an unmarked vehicle. You know, the police officer was in plain clothes. So, as far as Steve Gallen knew, this guy was either a guy who was he was either a road rager or he was trying to rob him. He had no idea. And Steve Gallen called his friend and said that I'm being followed, block after block. And the cop in the unmarked vehicle ended up rear-ending Stephen Gallen. And then the cop hopped out the vehicle, so Steve Gallen hopped out his vehicle too. And the cop, you know, they never went into what the cop said or did. But what ended up happening was Steve Gallen shot at the cop. And I assumed that he shot the cop in self-defense because he didn't know who this guy was, and the guy rear-ended him. Like, it's reasonable to assume that this young man reasonably feared for his life. And Steve Gallen IV was actually the son of Steve Gallen III, who is a superintendent of the Miami school system. But Mindy Glazer denied Gallen and his friend bond for some reason, even though it's clearly reasonable that this man feared for his life and that the man was not committing a crime. But nobody is, you know, questioning Gallen's innocence or guilt. Nobody's questioning Glazer's decision to deny this young man a bond. Nobody is questioning it except for me. And another case that happened about 2 years ago was the Christine Englehardt case. It was a young 24-year-old white woman from Pennsylvania who came to Miami on spring break. And she met two 20-year-old black men in a hotel bar. And she invited them to her room where they did drugs and had sex. She OD'd the next day. And now these guys are charged with drugging and raping her. Now, when I first heard about the Christine Englehardt case, I assumed that they did drug and rape her. But when I read the police report, that's not clear what happened. I mean, the police report, according to the detectives who are investigating the case, Christine Englehardt met these guys in a bar. And then they went to the hotel room. Okay, they went to the hotel room, and that Christine Englehardt was so inebriated that she had to be held up by the two men into the hotel room where they raped her. And I'm like, okay, where's the footage of them holding her up and dragging her to her hotel room? Like, why did nobody else see this? Why did nobody report? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying, right? But either way, Mindy Glazer denied them bond. And it's important to note that when Mindy Glazer was going on this righteous rant against the two men that she was denying a bond, she never mentioned rape. She never mentioned drugging. She was just harboring on the fact that they never dialed 911 to get this woman medical care. Not even questioning whether or not they even knew that this woman was having a medical emergency. Because how is two 21-year-olds are supposed to know whether somebody is ODing or not? You know what I'm saying? Or unresponsive or dead. Like, how are they supposed to know? Because if you do drugs, sometimes you just don't wake up for a long time. It's very usual. And, you know, how are they supposed to know? You know, they're not her babysitters. They're not, medical professionals. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you believe that the only crime, if you're denying them bond because they did not seek this woman medical care, You know what I'm saying? Then why are you agreeing with the charges? Why don't you say that they need to be charged with, at the very least, manslaughter, not murder or rape? But she never accused them of raping or drugging Christine. She just said that they didn't give her help, so I'm denying them bond. That's not reasonable to me, because in matter of fact, a few months later, when the story died down, the cops finally released footage of, the trio going to the hotel room, and I didn't see them holding Christine Englehardt up. I saw them following behind her with the cop, and the cops blurred her image out with a big old black blur. So you cannot see her body language, and you cannot tell whether she's steady on her feet or not. You cannot tell whether she's inebriated or not. You cannot tell whether or not she is even aware of them following her. You know what I'm saying? But it's clear that, I think it's pretty clear that she invited them to her hotel room. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the accusation was she was too drunk to even go to her hotel room. Not that they followed her and forced their way into her hotel room, because the charge would then be kidnapping or home invasion. But I'm saying this to say that, all the people who think Mindy Glazer, this judge, that all these judges are, that some of these judges are fair or righteous or not biased, you can miss me that. You can accuse Mindy Glazer of being biased in favor of a woman, because there's no way that the guys in Christine Englehardt case should not have bond, but Jazmin Paez gets to have bond. There's no way that Steve Gallen shouldn't have bond, but Jazmin Paez gets to have bond, because Jazmin Paez committed a worse crime than either of these two guys did. Either of these three guys, well, four guys did. The guy in the Steve Gallen and his friend didn't commit a heinous crime where they shouldn't be, where they did not commit a heinous crime. They should be allowed to have bond. The guys in the Christine Englehardt case should not be denied bond because they did not drug or rape her. You know what I'm saying? They just did not provide her with medical care. They should at the very least be charged with manslaughter. And I think they're actually facing a death penalty now. So anybody who says that the court system, the criminal justice system, isn't biased against black people need to look into these three cases. And a lot of people are, kissing Judge Mindy Glazer's ass as, they're saying that she's fair and she's not biased and she's a real compassionate judge. No, she's not. She's compassionate to women and to white people and pedophiles, because, all the pedophiles that come to the courtroom, they get bond. You know what I'm saying? All the pedophiles that come to her courtroom are white, and they all get bond. If you do something to a cop, you're not getting bond. It doesn't matter if you acted in self-defense or not. It doesn't matter how reasonable your actions were or not. In the Christine Englehardt case, these guys didn't do anything that would not make them eligible for bond. They've been in jail for 2 years. They did not rape or kill this woman. And you know what I'm saying? And even if they did, why should they not have bond? But a woman who tried to kill a child should be able to get bond. It's just backwards, man.